Tonight our main speaker is Craig. Please help me welcome Craig.
My name's Craig, and I'm an alcoholic. Thanks, Kurt, for asking me to come share. Thanks, Rick, for pushing him in the ribs when we had a meeting. Sort of urged him on. I was a 10-minute speaker here about 20 years ago. So I don't know if I was that bad or just taking them a while to ask me to come back. I guess some house cleaning. Sobriety date, February 28, 1987. So the math, my wife is about 6 months sober longer than me. She's got this saying, whenever we have a disagreement, she says, in 6 months you'll understand. So I have a home group. My home group is the We Ain't Dead Yet group of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a closed AA meeting in Gilbert, Arizona. We meet on Monday night and Wednesday night at 7 p.m., and if I was in town, that's where I would be tonight. I have a sponsor, Clancy. One of Clancy guys started this meeting, Ken Henderson, who has since gone on to the meeting in the sky. And I sponsor guys, and I have a local sponsor also because Clancy's a very busy man. We were fortunate to go on a cruise for his birthday here just last October for his 60 years of sobriety in Alcoholics Anonymous, and still more active and helps more people in AA than anybody I know. Pretty high bar. So, like I said, I'm alcoholic. I got here from drinking alcohol. I love milk. That didn't get me here. I love Coca-Cola. I didn't ever sit down and drink a case of Coca-Cola. But I drank alcohol, and I loved alcohol. I didn't necessarily like it the first time I drank it, but I loved the feeling it gave me. My mom's down here in the front row, and you'll get to hear more about that. But I lived a normal childhood. As far as I knew what was normal, it was normal to us. Born and raised in Wyoming, had a mom and a dad, had 4 brothers and a sister, knew where mom and dad was at. Pretty much unscathed through school. I got in trouble once for taking dirty magazines to school in the 2nd grade. I found them in the alley. I swear to God, I did. And then I opened it up. I was showing my girlfriend, and the teacher looked over, and then I was in all sorts of trouble. And then for smoking cigarettes in one of the maybe middle school, and then for taking some of them little airline bottles of booze. I don't think they have those well, maybe they do. But I snuck those to school, and then they didn't like that. So other than that, unscathed, really. Did the normal things that kids do. Was fair at sports, but I was real good at sports up until about 8th grade, So as long as I'm a starter, I will play. But if I got to sit the bench, I ain't sitting the bench. I was pretty fair at gymnastics. They wanted me to cut my hair. Believe it or not, I had long flowing locks. They called me Goldilocks in high school. But anyways, so I wouldn't cut my hair. So I didn't make the gymnastics team. Ran away from home at 17. Ran away a couple blocks up the street. Mom and dad grounded me, and I had told this girl I'd take her to this concert, and I couldn't let this girl know that my parents had control over me. So I ran away, left them a note, leave me alone, I'll finish school. They did, and I did. I did go to that concert. They were at the front door. I was leaning down in a vehicle in the mirror. I had a 5th of Jack Daniels and 100 lot of them little white things with a cross on them, and go fast. By the time I got in there, I was shit-faced drunk. Don't remember the concert. I was 4 years sober before my dad reminded me that I got fired from that job the next day for having called in sick at that concert. So there was consequences early on. But I mean that's just part of what you pay to drink, right? First drunk I remember early. Got drunk, blacked out. The girls washed my hair in wine. I went home. My parents were there. They weren't supposed to be home. Walked right past my dad, right past my mom, went downstairs, passed out. She told me she would come down and was trying to slap me and find out where I'd been, and I wouldn't come to. And so that's pretty much how it started, and never got any better. Okay? I graduated high school. They moved like 2 months after I ran away. Maybe not even that long. But anyway, the whole family moved out of town. So I was like, oh shit, this is pretty serious. So I graduated. They come to the graduation. I didn't invite them. And they asked me if I wanted to come back home. And I said, sure. I didn't have any place to go. And we moved to Green River, Wyoming, which is a smaller town than Casper. You ever hear of Green River, Rock Springs? Anyways, small town, drinking town, railroad town, mining town, oil field town, and you can drink 24/7. Nobody will look at you twice. You can walk down the street with a bottle of beer in your hand, 6 in the morning, 6 in the evening. Nobody will look at you. You can order cocktails out the window, open container, no problem. Mom, Dad owned a bar. I recommend that if you're alcoholic. You can drink top shelf booze as much as you want. And I drank a lot. In my prime, I'd drink a fifth and then I'd go out and drink another fifth easily. When I finished drinking that much in the bottom of a styrofoam cup would get me stupid drunk twice in one day. Stupid drunk. So drunk where you can't really get your head all the way up. You can't focus. It was just, I don't know if you've ever seen the Jellinek curve, Jellinek's curve of the disease of alcoholism. But I was on the backside curve and quite a ways down. All the way down is death. Wet brain and then death. So, in Wyoming, what we do when we're partying is we go to your town because there's nothing going on in our town. So I had just gotten a new truck, new to me, and me and my brother and his girlfriend and another guy, we went partying. It was Christmas time, and we got looped. I got looped. And coming back, and I came to on a gurney with my mom and dad on my left and 2 cops on my right, telling me my brother didn't make it. And I know pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. I immediately did not want to be there. I couldn't believe what I heard. You read about things like that, you hear about things like that, but they don't happen to you, And so I just, my brother was 18 and I was 20, and there was, there was no real consequences for that. I mean, yeah, I lost my brother, but I mean, the judge said, poor you lost your brother, I hurt my head a little bit and my knee, but nothing big. And, they said I couldn't drink or drive for a while. I don't even remember. I didn't want to drive anyways. But my solution to that was, also when I got here, I was college educated, okay? Very bright, damn near genius. At least I thought I was genius. And but my best thinking was, my solution to that accident was, I'm going to drink and drive, and I'm going to die. I'm going to die like Carl died, and then everybody would say, poor Craig, look what happened to Craig. A lot of people tried to help me. Mom, Dad tried. They were affluent business people. They sent me to doctors, many of them. learned doctors, great psychiatrists, and nothing against any of those people. They all tried to help me. I couldn't hear them. I couldn't be honest with them. I couldn't even be honest with myself. I didn't know. I had no idea I was an alcoholic. I didn't know. I'd never even heard the term alcoholic, and nobody told me I was alcoholic. I don't know. Maybe somebody did. If they did, I didn't hear it. If anybody ever said that, I didn't hear it. They sent me to one psychiatrist, and this psychiatrist says, "Well, Craig, you gotta get rid of some ashtrays before you can eat any more ashtrays." And I thought, this guy's an idiot, They're paying him over. My parents were paying him over $100 an hour in the 70s. That's quite a bit of money, And anyways, so they would give me some pills and tell me not to drink. Well, I'm alcoholic. You tell me not to drink, that means drink. And so now I take the pills and I drink. And then I get that same, I can't really wake up. I sleep a lot. I sleep 15, 16 hours a night, but I can't wake up. I can't. So I just throw the pills away and I just drink. Because when I drink, I can breathe, And I mean, here's a commercial, Alcoholics Anonymous, the purpose of Alcoholics Anonymous is to do very slowly, what alcohol and drugs did very quickly. When I pick up a bottle of bourbon and take a few swigs, deep, I can breathe. I can breathe and everything's calm. And I need to be able to find that same thing here without the booze, which I have, and much, much more. So I'm running and gunning, and I can't do this. As sober as I am tonight, and as sober as I was then, I couldn't kill myself. I could put my mom and dad through more pain, my other brothers, my sister. And so, like I said, I just drank. I drank and drove. I wrecked more vehicles. I didn't kill anybody else or myself, thank God. Got more DUIs. But really, I was doing... I didn't ever really do any jail time or prison time. I did some weekends in jail, but never any real time. And so now I'm 10 years. I'm 10 years drinking, and the alcohol ain't working anymore. I could drink, and sometimes it would just make everything go away. But it got to where even if it was 12 seconds, it was worth it. Just shut this off, and because now I had to drink for what I did, and anyways, it wouldn't shut it off, and it wouldn't work. I couldn't not drink, and I couldn't get drunk. I couldn't stay drunk, and so now I am going to kill myself. I'm going to really kill myself, but I'm sort of an academic now, and so I gotta check AA off the list. Not because AA is going to work, I just got to be able to say I tried AA, okay? And so I came in here not knowing what an alcoholic was, I was not an alcoholic, because if I was, that might mean I have to quit drinking, and that was the only answer ever. And but I'm going to do everything you tell me to do, because when it doesn't work, then I can leave and kill myself. And so they said, get a sponsor and get a home group. They said, anybody can, anybody can be a meeting goer. Anybody can join Meeting Goers Anonymous. Anybody can join Coffee Drinkers Anonymous. Said, anybody can join Grab Ass Anonymous. But my sponsor said, if you want to get sober, he said, you're going to join Alcoholics Anonymous. He said, to join, you have to get a home group. You have to get a position in your home group, and you have to have a sponsor. So I did that, and I listened for a little bit, not very long. And this guy told a pretty gnarly story, so I picked him to be my sponsor. And we went out. He didn't say yes right away. He said, we'll go to coffee, and then afterwards, if you still want me to, we'll work it out. But so I asked him to sponsor me, and we went to the Village Inn, and then he set me in a booth, and then he talked, and I listened. Everybody else was over at the main table having coffee and cake and pie and laughing. And this guy, man, he was serious. He got serious real quick. And then he started, writing all the stuff I had to do. He said, you're going to call me every day. You're going to sit in the front 2 rows. You're not going to talk. You get called on, you can state your name and your disease. He says, but truth is, Craig, we're talking about recovery, and you don't have any. He said, you're not going to get up to the meeting, go to the bathroom. You're not going to get up and go for coffee. He says, you're not going to talk to women. You're not going to get women's phone numbers. You're going to read 2 pages out of the big book. You're going to call me every day. And you're going to ask for help. And I said, I don't believe in this God stuff. He said, I didn't ask you to believe. He said, you're going to do lip service. He says, you're going to ask for help. If you don't drink, you're going to thank him at night. I went home that night with my 5 days of sobriety, and I got on my knees, and I said a prayer to a God I didn't believe in. I said, God, whoever you are, whatever you are, if you're out there, please help me. Because I'd rather die than go and live in the life I'm living. And something happened. Something happened. I didn't see a bright light, but I felt warm. I felt comfortable. I knew to my core if I just didn't drink, everything was going to be all right. I just knew, and I was comfortable. I slept the whole night through. And I came to another meeting the next day, you know. And really what happened was I came to so many meetings that, I become addicted to Alcoholics Anonymous. I wanted to come. I come because I wanted to come. Early on, I remember I asked Gordy, I said, well, how many meetings do I have to go to a week? And he says, he goes, you have to go every day. And I said, every day? And then he goes, well, no, for you, you're so smart. You only have to go to 2. I said, good. I said, which ones? He goes, today and tomorrow. So, but he always had answers for these things. But, so then he said, well, I was going to be the coffee maker. And I said, well, I'm pretty smart. I got a college education. We should let somebody less fortunate make coffee. He said, you will make coffee for a year. I'm, okay. And so then I made the coffee. They gave me the keys. And then I didn't want to give up the coffee after a year. Nobody else could set the chairs like I did. Nobody. Oh, and we had decaf back then. And so of course, I'm making coffee. So I made regular coffee. And they said, well, Craig, we don't have regular coffee. And I said, well, we do now. They said, well, we got to have a business meeting. And so they had a business meeting. I lost. But, well, no, they said, well, you can make regular and decaf. So I got to make both. But anyways, they taught me how to grow up. They taught me how to grow up here. Next they gave me the secretary position and intergroup and GSR and PICPC and, H&I and, I've done all the positions in many an area, and I love them all. I love them all. In spite of myself, in spite of my arrogance, in spite of my pride, God seemed fit that I could stay. I spoke at a lot of schools. I was 29 when I got here, which, I think everybody when they get here, they think they're young. I thought I was young, but, if you get here and you're 60, you think you're young, I did see a guy, though. I seen a guy take a chip, his 24-hour chip. He was 70 years old, down at the 4848 in Phoenix. And I thought, why bother? Why not just go out and get it done? That man took a 10-year chip before he died, and he said it was the best 10 years of his life. I've done a lot of service trying to pay back what Alcoholics Anonymous has given me, and I just can't do it. It's like this suit and tie, I wear this out of reverence. How do you pay back something that has given you a life worth living? Did prison meetings for 20 years. I was doing a meeting at 2121 one night while I was just attending it. I was walking in. And this guy taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, I'd like to talk to you after the meeting. I said, okay. And so I can't get it out of my mind. Like, do I owe this guy an amends, or I don't know him, you know? And so anyways, after the meeting, he comes up and he says, you don't remember me, do you? And I said, no. And he says, the last time you see me, I was wearing orange. He says, I want you to know that I'm sober, I have a home group, I have a wife, and I have a job because of you. And highs like that, I could never get that high when I was drinking and drugging, trying to get high. Probably one of the other closest things to that, I was 9 months sober when a man asked me to sponsor him. And I just wanted to cry. Now, I'll tell you, I never cried before I got here. I never cried sober. But this man thought that I could help him. And I couldn't even help myself, And it's just, we have to give it away to keep it. So it's a gift. And so everything that I'm prejudiced against, everything that I think I believe, I've been shown differently. Okay, so I get here from Wyoming. Okay, I'm like white and right and homophobic and, all that stuff. So I'm like 5 years sober, and this guy comes up and asks me to sponsor him. I said, sure, let's go to the restaurant, because now I do what my sponsor did with me. And so I'm asking him where he goes to meetings, and he says, well, I go to Mid-City, and I go to Lambda. And I said, you what? I said, are you gay? And he says, yeah. He goes, I got to be honest, don't I? I said, yeah. And so I'll be honest with you, I don't know what to say, so I say a prayer, And this is what came to me. I don't get up here and say, my name's Craig, and I'm heterosexual, and I'm an alcoholic. So I told Joel, I said, well, as long as you don't have an attraction towards me, we can go through the 12 steps. And so then he said he didn't. And then I didn't know if that was a compliment or an insult. Joel taught me a lot. He taught me he had lost his lover of 27 years, and he wasn't out to his family, so he couldn't fully grieve that relationship. I had never tried to be anybody other than what I was. I was alcoholic. I drank as much as I could, as often as I could. If you like it, great. If you don't, tough. That's just who I am. That's what I am. I was very prejudiced against Mexicans when I got here. There was a period in our life where we were on food stamps, and me and my older brother went to the store and shopped with the food stamps, and we were coming home, and these Mexicans told us they were going to steal our groceries and cut our fingers off. I was 9 years old, I believed them. So it wasn't until I got here, and one of my early sponsees was Mexican Johnny. And Johnny grew up in the streets of Phoenix, 12th Street in Van Buren. And Johnny didn't know how to read and write. And I helped Johnny learn to read and write. And when he shared his fifth step with me, I thought, my God, why is this kid even alive? He had plate in his head. He'd lift his shirt. That's a knife wound. That's a gun wound. That's a knife wound. And he would kill for me. We'd go into a restaurant to get something to eat, and he'd say, Craig, they're dissing you. You want me to kick their ass? And I said, no, Johnny, no. We quit fighting, It was just, I love him to this day. The full circle of the first story around the gay man, my brother, who's a captain in the Air Force and a football player, came home one year, and he wanted to talk to me, and he had a stack of books. I think it was probably that high. He had also went and got his master's in divinity, and he came to tell me he was gay. And I said, that's all right, Kevin. Just be who you are. I love you anyways. That could not have happened. That would not have happened without this program. He would have never felt safe to come to me. I would have never been able to accept it. So many joys and so many miracles on these amends. I had an amends to make to this woman And I was like about a year sober. And so, I became willing and put him on the list, but I thought, well, I'll just never see him again, But so one of my best friends, he's graduating in Wyoming, and he calls and he wants me to come, and the party's at her house. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm like, oh, I can't go. I can't afford it. I don't have time off work. I asked my sponsor, don't ever ask your sponsor if you don't want to do things, because he said, well, Craig, you need to say a prayer. And so I said a prayer, and you know what happened. I went. And we went there, and I went up to talk to her, and she didn't even remember who I was. I mean, that's how big I think I am. I think I'm the center of the universe, right? But the beauty of that was I came back. That plane ticket cost me $200. That was quite a while ago. And I went to a meeting up on South Mountain. Johnny H. was talking, and I bought a 150/50 ticket, and I won the 50/50, and it was $200. I have so many experiences like that it's uncanny. I've made all my amends. I planned out how I was going to make my amends to my mom and my dad, and I wrote them out. And the first one was going to be with my dad, and he was driving a truck at a time, and we climbed into a truck, and we were going to drive 36 hours straight, and we did, and I didn't say one word, And I remember Mom, she was in Lake Tahoe at the time. I went over there and spent a weekend with her, and I was going to do it, and didn't say one word. But what happened was when Mom came, she came one time, and we had dinner. We just sat down on the couch, and I started talking and started, making my amends. But then there's that part of the amends where you ask them, was there anything I left out? And my mom said, yes, there is, And she had wanted me not to drink and drive one night after I had started drinking. And I don't know what I said to her. She wouldn't repeat it. She said it wasn't good. I didn't put hands on her. But I know if you come between me and a drink, and I've started drinking, I'm going to drink. They're just, and I have a razor-sharp tongue. I do know that. But I know I don't ever disrespect my mom, ever. I do what I can to help her, and I've done that for a great many years. My dad, I was trying to buy life insurance for my dad when I first sobered up, because I just knew he was going to die any day. And he just died like 2 years ago. So I had 30 wonderful years with my father. My father loved AA. When I first got sober, he bought a motorhome. And me and Rodney and Randy, we went to every roundup there was, and we had this big old motorhome. And Dad would be with us. He's like sober. Oh, God, we went all over. He loved it, absolutely loved this program. I've had a few speed bumps here, what I call them, but getting sober, staying sober has never been difficult. I'm sorry if it's hard for you, but compared to what it took me to get here, this has been a cakewalk. It has been a cakewalk. My oldest brother came to AA for a week when I was either 90 days or 9 months sober. I don't remember now, and then he went to a meeting every day for a week, and then I would tell him what my sponsor told me. I said, you got to go to meetings. You're going to get drunk. You're going to get drunk. And he didn't drink for 7 years. And then, anyways, he drank. And I don't know if his drinking had anything to do with this, but he came up for some prison time, and some serious prison time. And he went to prison for a long, long time. And when somebody in your family goes to prison, they're not the only one that does time. It just, when my brother Carl died, and we had his things, and you sort of go through their things, but he's dead and he's gone. But when you're going through your brother's things and he's not gone, and you can't call him anytime you want, and you can't just send him something if you want, and you can't visit if you want, it's It's just difficult. You can have a conversation and then it's just click, you know. Anyways, and what that did, though, it rekindled, because I'd done prison work for a long time at that time, probably 14 years, and it rekindled my love for the incarcerated alcoholic. Because when I was 7 years sober, I was doing Perryville, when Perryville was a men's facility. And I was sharing with this kid, Rocky, and Rocky was doing 2 years flat for double vehicular manslaughter that he didn't remember. You know, and that's basically the same thing happened to me. I mean, I remember I was messing with the tape deck, but that's all I remember. And when he shared that with me, he leveled me, he made me humble. I realized that I should be wearing orange and I should be sitting in that chair that he's sitting in. I can tell you that if you drink and drive today and kill somebody, I don't care if it's your mother, brother, sister, father, you're going to prison for a long time. In 77 in Wyoming, it was much, much different. You know, but Rocky shared that with me. And, you know, so I thought, you know, I need to give back. And so when my brother went down, it rekindled my love for H&I work. And I went back, and I'll tell you, I mean, I went. If my meeting was on Christmas Eve, I was there. If my meeting was on Christmas Day, I was there. And one year, it was on Christmas Eve, and I was out there, and those guys smuggled me a piece of pumpkin pie, or I don't know. Anyways, I don't know how the hell but anyways, this is the best pie I ever had. And I'll tell you, I didn't always want to go out there. It was 72 miles one way, and it would be 100, 120 degrees, and, you know, it was just miserable. But I never left there not feeling better. Many times I left there in tears of gratitude. You know, I can tell you, Noreen and I have been married just not quite 2 years yet, but our anniversary date, I'll never forget it, because it's May 7th. That's my brother's birthday. And what I didn't know for me, and I've done this work, okay? I've been with many sponsors. I've been through the 12 steps. I've taken guys through the steps. I've done a lot of outside stuff. I've done a lot of work, okay? But what I really wasn't getting to, what I didn't touch, I do Al-Anon once a week, and I've done that for 12 years. And I wouldn't get married because when my brother died, it hurt so much that I wasn't going to ever love somebody that much again and make myself vulnerable to getting hurt again. So, but I didn't know that. I mean, that was at the subconscious level so deep that I couldn't even touch it. You know, I'm 30. I was like 27 years sober before I realized it, and 30 years when we got married. So, and then also before I went back to visit my brother's grave, it was 27 years, and not because I wasn't going, and not because I was afraid. It was not convenient. Okay. And I mean, I've sponsored guys and sent them, you know, you write the letter and you go back. But anyway, so I wrote the letter, and I spent some time with my brother before the rest of the family came over. But I mean, when we got to the edge of town, man, I was crying uncontrollably. But something happened that was, I can't even put it into words. I can't put it into words, but there was a healing that took place that was just, I don't know why I waited so long. I don't know why I waited so long. So, you know, the amends are where the rubber meets the road, really. I'd made my amends, and to the best of my ability, and I thought I had paid back everybody. I remember one time riding down the road with Dad, and I had paid him the money for this truck, but he said, "When are you going to pay me the money for this truck?" And I'll tell you, I would have swore on a stack of Bibles that I did, and in my heart I still did. But anyway, so again, I asked my sponsor next morning, again, don't ever ask your sponsor if you don't want to do anything. But so actually there's a couple of guys around there, they were all about 40, 50 years sober, and they said, "Well, what's your relationship with your dad worth?" You know, and it was, I owed him that and much, much more. So I was writing him a check, I think like $50 a month, $100 a month, and then one year I finally got a check back from the IRS, and I just paid him off. But, real quick also, while I'm on that, the first year I got sober, I owed the IRS some money. And I could have lied just a little bit, and then I wouldn't owe them no money. And so I remember I went to my sponsor. He said, well, Craig, he says, you can't, be this way in AA and this way out here. He says, you got to be all in, So I did not lie. I paid my taxes. I made the check out. We wrote checks back then, and I made it out to communist pigs. They cashed my check, okay? I don't do that anymore, but I've heard people say that they did not near that much and, gotten audited for it. We're running out of time. I live a charmed life today, a charmed life, because I was a pig, because I drank as much as I could, as often as I could, and I get to have this life today. We're fortunate we get to travel a lot, like she said. We've been to Ireland and Germany and Switzerland and Bermuda and Mexico and Canada and Italy. I don't know, a few other places. But wherever we go to AA. And I remember we were in Ireland, and I sort of elbowed. I said, are they talking English? And she said, yeah, and I couldn't understand nothing they were saying. But when they pray, they're really funny because they don't, I don't remember holding hands, but we stand up and we bow our heads, and then they speed pray. They say the Lord's Prayer and the Serenity Prayer, just boom, really fast. And I've been to meetings where I didn't know the language, but I could feel it. I can feel when the heart speaks to the heart. This is the greatest thing going. Alcoholics Anonymous has the best recovery rate of any place. It's the cheapest. It's for free. It's for free and for fun. We throw a few bucks in the basket if we have it. There's some work that has to be done. I can't come in here and get it through osmosis. I have to take some action. I have to do some work. It's simple, really. It's simple for complicated people like me. I've never seen anybody too smart for this program. I've seen many people, I've seen many too smart, none too dumb. I've seen people that couldn't read get this program and be able to keep it and do it. I've buried many people sober, some not sober, many smarter than me, younger than me, made more money, better looking. This is no respecter. This is a progressive, fatal illness. It will kill you. It will kill me. I have a daily reprieve contingent on my spiritual sobriety. I thank God for AA. I thank you people for showing me my God. Thanks.